Alright, Corporal. Try walking forward. When Corporal Milton Keller had heard that the Army needed volunteers to test the new T-41 power armor, he was among the first to accept, eager to serve his country in any way he could. It was certainly no glorious position on the front lines of this new war, but it certainly beat being a line cook at Nuka-Burger, especially in regards to his paycheck. His thoughts were brought back to the current test, and with a little bit of effort, he willed the armor's legs to move, proceeding towards a set of weapons sprawled out across a metal table, ranging from standard infantry rifles to heavy machine guns. The scientist overseeing this test seemed satisfied with the results, jotting something on his clipboard before speaking again.
Motion is looking good. Now let's test dexterity. Try picking up a weapon.
The corporal opted for a pistol, the sidearm fitting surprisingly well in his gauntleted hand, and causing the scientist to jot something else down before gesturing downrange towards the dozens of targets arrayed before them. Without another word, he loaded the pistol, adjusted its sights, and took aim, testing the armor's optics for improved accuracy. With an exhale, he emptied the mag, each shot striking a target dead center, eliciting a hum of approval from the corporal. Testing continued with each consecutive weapon, including infantry rifles, heavy weapons, and even some experimental laser weaponry. Each test proving successful. But the speed, or rather lack thereof, at which the armor moved was an issue Keller made note to bring up to high command. Speak of the devil, he could see General Constantine Chase approach from his peripheral vision, prompting an about-face and a salute which the general quickly returned.
At ease, soldier. How's the armor holding up?
Assuming the question was directed at him, the scientist gave his summary.
The armor has performed spectacularly, sir. All systems are at peak capacity, and...
I was talking to the corporal, you stiff ass. My boys are gonna be wearing these things in combat, and I want to make sure they are certain it's in commie-killing shape. Now, how about it, son? How's it feeling?
Pretty good, sir, all things considered. Although I do have some concerns regarding the armor's hydraulic systems.
Oh? And what might those be?
Movement in this thing seems slower than I'm comfortable with.
Don't get me wrong, I'm sure it'll hold if shit goes south. But I'd rather not have to test the limits because I couldn't get the hell out of the way fast enough.
The general pondered this for a brief moment before turning toward the scientist.
How long do you think it would take to fix this issue?
I'd say we could make reasonable improvements within 3 weeks.
You have one. Get it done.
Credit where credit was due. R&D certainly pulled through on their end. For the new T-41, Sergeant George Grant now wore made him feel invincible as he gunned down a Chinese infantry squad with his heavy machine gun. But he knew better than to let it get to his head, especially as a rocket zoomed past his head and struck an American tank in the right tread, disabling it. Without missing a beat, one of his own men wielding their own rocket launcher moved to retaliate, bullets bouncing off his armor as he disposed of the offending soldier. The other 3 members of the squad showed up soon afterwards, 2 of them with assault rifles blazing, as the third aimed a flamethrower at an unfortunate squad of Chinese soldiers, subjecting them to a fiery death. A satisfying effort indeed, but the American defenses were still in danger of being overrun, so the squad was quick to take action, moving into the forward trenches, where a brutal melee between American and Chinese troops was taking place. The sergeant entered the engagement with a barreling charge into 2 Chinese soldiers, shattering bone as they were flung into the trench walls. The riflemen followed shortly afterwards, each killing several enemy soldiers with precise headshots before having to reload. Their efforts, however, would have been rendered pointless as a Chinese tank moved into position to gun down the troops, were it not for the rocket troopers' quick reaction in firing first, the shot striking the turret. The push continued as the sergeant and the rocket trooper switched to their own rifles given the close quarters of the trenches, the squad splitting up to cover more ground, with 3 heading north and the sergeant ordering the last trooper to follow him south. From there, the fighting continued in a steady rhythm for the next few hours. Advance, halt, shoot. Advance, halt, shoot. Though the rhythm was broken now and then by caving in the skull of a commie stupid enough to get too close. They were pushing forward unhindered, but the PLA just kept coming. For every soldier they killed, 2 more seemed to take his place. And for every vehicle they destroyed, another one replaced it. But as expected, the PLA could not keep up this level of attrition forever, and were eventually forced to retreat, leaving the sergeant with breathing room to re-establish contact with his squad.
This is Alpha 1 to Alpha 3, requesting status update.
All he got in return was static, which caused him concern as he tried again.
Alpha 3, do you copy?
Still static. But the footfalls of his accompanying squad mate did comfort him a bit.
Comms must have took a hit during the fighting. Let's head back and regroup with the others.
But before they could start doing so, the faint whine of artillery shells could be heard overhead. It seems the PLA had left a little parting gift. If you stayed around this far, thank you so much for watching or listening. If you enjoy the content I put out, please consider subscribing. I post new videos every week. And if you have any suggestions for how I can improve my videos, or if there's anything you'd like me to cover next, please let me know in the comments below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.